And we return now for our second and final best of three that KOTLguy and myself will be casting. It's a big one. It's another elimination match. Alliance taking on VPpolar. Best of three showdown. New roster for Alliance. VPpolar coming into this match, into this tournament, I should say, as one of the heavy favorites to take it. But they find themselves now in the lower bracket. And they've got to fight their way through the other two teams, Alliance and then Na'Vi, who just took our first best of three of the day to have a shot at going to China. With that said, I am, of course, joined by KOTLguy. How you doing, Dakota?
Doing fantastic. Looking forward to this matchup here. Another clash of titans who we were expecting to kind of make their way all the way through almost with an easy way. But now one of these two big boys have to go home. Coming into this matchup, as far as odds go, last time I checked, a 68% advantage for VPpolar over the 32% of Alliance. The head-to-head breakdown, these two teams last met on December 18th for Star Ladder Season 11. It was VPpolar who did come out on top, and in that game it was Mag putting together a very impressive Death Prophet going 11-1, and Phobos with a 7-1 Spirit Breaker. Franchise history matchup, 10 games these two have gone head-to-head, with VPpolar besting Alliance 6 wins over Alliance's 4. So just a slight odds favorite for VPro, both through the history and for this matchup right here, and they're going to open things up with a Brewmaster Slark. Alliance grab a hold of their support duo with Skywrath Mage and Sand King. Should be a barn burner. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, the Skywrath Mage reply to the Brewmaster, always a solid choice. Alliance also getting the Sand King. Now, something I was going to mention, which I came across just getting ready for this match, was how many friggin' Lion picks that Alliance have gone for. The last 6 games, my nuts has played Lion 5 times, but the one other game, it was Sand King. So he'll play Sand King again. Ake will be your Skywrath Mage, and they have not revealed any of their cores. So we should talk about what these 3 players have been on. We've seen... They had Nequa stand in for a few games in their first series of this tournament as Pycat was unable to make it. But the games Pycat did play, he was on Storm, Dusa, and Void. The Void already banned. Storm is still out there. Natural Orchid Carrier, not too bad against Brewmaster. Can help slow down the Slark split push, so that is a viable option. As for Loda, we've seen a lot of the Troll, which is banned. He's played it 3 times. Jug, also banned. Sniper Terrorblade, and not sure we'll see either of those this game. So I think Loda might be on something different. And then EGM, the offlane player. He's been on everything. Frankly, I feel like he's still getting used to the role, or at least trying to fit in with... He has played offlane before, before the Alliance days, and a little bit for Tinker, but he hasn't, he doesn't have like a lot of recent experience in it, and perhaps it's just trying to get used to how Alliance is playing around him in that position. We saw his Invoker the other day. It was not very good. He got completely shut down early. Went Exhort build, didn't get a Midas, just was... a non-factor, really, in that game. Played a Nature's Prophet game, which I didn't personally get to watch. Played a little Tide. So he's been all over the place. And I guess out of all those heroes that I've been mentioning that they've run recently, I feel like Storm is the one that jumps out to me as good against Brew, good against Slark. It's synergized well with Sand King and Skyra. So that type of hero is an option. They go Puck here. Now, I'm not 100% sure who will play it, but it's kind of in the same vein of the Storm. Just good at shutting down this Brewmaster early.
Yeah, good mid-game, good high mobility, and some lockdown factor. I agree with you on that, and they certainly could do serious work with Storm. I remember I casted Alliance's opening matchup against Team Tinker, and Pycat, who wasn't there for the first 2 matches, he came into the third one. We questioned if he was warm up and ready to go. Well, he certainly was. He played a phenomenal Storm Spirit that game. I want to say, maybe not as dramatic, but it felt like he went 20-something kills to blah blah death. It was absolutely out of control. So might not be the case this go around, as the 4th grab is going to be Clinks again. So back-to-back Clinks games for us to witness here. And VPpolar grab up the Night Stalker, a spicy pick in his own right. This is going to be very intriguing. A lot of heroes we have yet to see today, and what suit best in the Alliance vs Pro matchup?
Well, it could be a great Night Stalker game. Puck is so weak against this hero. You throw out one Void, it's like half his health. You can't miss it either. And if you ever silence Puck, he's pretty much done for until he gets a Yule Scepter, which, unless Puck is snowballing, will be much later on. Sandcade is pretty good to counter-initiate against the Night Stalker dives, but Skywrath, another hero who's more or less food. Night Stalker, he can always run out of Mystic Flare unless they've got like a Coil and Burrow Strike to hold him in place, so you can't really punish his tower diving that easily. Skywrath also very squishy. Night Stalker Slark, to me, these heroes have a lot of easy targets to bring down, and even the Clinks, you pop a Dust and go onto him with Void. It's one of the few heroes that can keep up with the Clinks' movements around the map. So if VPpolar get through their laning stage relatively intact, I think it could be a feeding frenzy for them in the mid game.
Yeah, I certainly agree with that. Mindset for these teams, coming into this alliance, of course, they won that opening matchup against Tinker, but then they ultimately did get knocked down against Power Rangers, going 1-2 in that series. The last game was pretty questionable with as far as how Alliance put together their draft. Loda ended up going 0-4 on his sniper. It was very finicky performance, and then they're looking to really bounce back in this one. And for Virtus Pro, who were knocked down at the start going against Empire, I believe, they did manage to beat out their Virtus Pro brothers in the lower bracket. Unfortunately for the other Virtus Pro squad, they couldn't even put together a win, so it's tough times for them. But they live on through their Polar friends here and taking on Alliance, and for their fourth pickup here, need to start actually considering some support play. They've already rounded out some nice sort of mid-game and cores, but we need some foundation here. And, I'm trying to look to what bounces out at me. Dazzle's been already banned out. The Omni Knight's still always there, but what were you going to say? A lion? I'll give you the benefit if you were.
No. I mean, it might have come up, but I was going to start running through some of the things they've run recently. But yeah, Lion is great this game. Really nice against Puck.
Yeah.
Skywrath and Scankate are both fairly squishy. Decent at zoning off laners nowadays, and if he's laning with either the Slark or actually if he's laning with any of these heroes, he's good at setting up for like Brew to get in range to clap, Slark to leap on them. So I think it's a pretty good line game, and Alliance not looking at their drafts, unless this third hero is something that's really good in the tri-lane, I don't think we'll see it. Actually, VPpolar are worried about getting aggro tried, though. They're going to remove the Axe from the pool. And Alliance it feels like they do need that tankier frontliner, someone who can go toe-to-toe with the Brewmaster, Night Stalker. Bristleback is out there. That's an option for them. Tough for him to track down a Slark or Night Stalker and fight, but he is pretty good against Brewmaster Split. He's tanky against the Lion Finger. It's a hero that's been in vogue lately. Minus armor makes clicks hit harder. So I think something like that is a viable option. If they want more team fight, they could go for a Tidehunter. No real counters to Ravage right now, so let's see what Alliance have in store for us with this final pick.
They'd also have gotten Nature's Prophet. Just because Mr. Admiral Bulldog isn't part of the Alliance lineup anymore doesn't mean they can't still run it. They had found some success with it recently as well, going 2-0 in 6.83. So it's not something they have casted aside because they've changed up their roster. Also, just something that percolates me and I don't feel like I get to see enough, and it could have suited and might still be able to suit Virtus Pro's lineup, is maybe considering a support bounty hunter. The tracking ability would be great for someone like Clinks and Sand King, who can be very evasive. Plus, you can go into the jungle and harass Sand King, who's trying to, build up his Blink Dagger. But here we go. Mother debuts here today. It's going to be Alliance who grab it up.
The fifth pick, Brood. It's been all the rage in China. LGD's been using it quite a bit. It's
still a good reason for bounty hunter, if I say so myself.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, you were talking about it for a lot. Or actually, no, you were talking about it for VPpolar.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind it. It's lots of invis, jungle harassment. I don't know.
It's not a terrible choice. Yeah, actually, I don't know. Bounty could work this game. Good against Sand King, Clicks, Brood, as you mentioned. Good at shutting down the jungler. Yeah, I could say. I don't know if VPpolar have that in mind, but it did get buffed in the latest patch as well. They go for a safer support option.
The standard Ogre. Who can hate on Ogre?
It seems like a good Brood game, though. They have very few ways to clear the spiderlings. They are pretty good at killing the hero. And the thing is, Night Stalker, Slark are very good at hunting at night. And, of course, with the Slark's ultimate, you're going to have a good idea if Brood's in the area. And later on this game, if Brood doesn't dominate, as is often the case with the hero, she falls off hard. But two of the best hunters, literally, the Night Stalker, just running you down at nighttime. And Slark, of course, knowing when you're in the area or if you have a ward nearby. So we'll see. We'll see if he can have that potent start.
Yeah, we'll have to. Well, no, it's good that they grab something like the Ogre because they need that bit of rude control. If Lion's going to look to move around, and Lil is picked up right now, going to get aggressive early. I imagine Ogre is going to have to be there for that little bit of backlash support, plus roaming it about. But I do fear for this Brood Mother, who could just be really a thorn in the side for the team. They have to constantly make sure they have someone always there to address. Now, this does put pressure on Alliance to make sure the other 4 can get a lot done without this Brood Mother, because she's not one to obviously get involved in a whole lot of team fight skirmishes. She has her own battle to go for in the side lane, and with Pycat picking it up, I imagine this is going to be a pretty impressive Brood coming out. So with that said, we got the game underway here. It's going to be VPpolar going on Alliance, another best of 3, loser go home, winner going to be moving on to face Na'Vi, who we saw just take down Empire.
Now with that said, we run through our lineups now. It's a new Alliance. Bulldog too busy trolling Twitch chat to play Dota, so of course they've moved on, at least for now. My nuts will be playing the support Sandkate. He's been either this or Lion every single game thus far in his debut for Alliance. Ake, your Skywrath Mage. Potato will be on the puck, and that leaves Pycat as the Broodmother heading to the off lane, with Loda potentially rolling over to the safe lane to farm as that clinks. Little ambush being set up here by Alliance. They really want this bounty rune, and perhaps VPpolar get punished trying to go for it.
I think we saw this yesterday when they did it against Na'Vi. Havos thought he had the easy rune, and they just kind of popped out from the Roche pit and just absolutely ambushed him. And they're looking to do a bit of the same thing. And before I go with the introduction, I want to see if they are able to grab the Illidan. No, he did level up Pounce, so if they do make the jump, they better have good lockdown. And, well, there's going to be one set of lockdown. There's going to be the Orb. He didn't level up Silence, though, did Aki, so he will be able to just simply pounce up to the high ground. But Pycat chases him down with the web, and he'll be able to just walk away. So, with that said, we'll go ahead and introduce Radiant side VPpolar. After beating down their VPro friends, they move on here to face Alliance. It's going to be Illidan here on the bottom. Slark, he's going to be forced to use up the early salve. Little Hardy's going to be right behind him on the Lion. Mid lane, it's going to be DK Phobos playing that Brewmaster. And then the off lane position, we're going to have Mag on the Night Stalker, and we're going to have FNG playing your Ogre Magi.
The Brews are off lane here. You've got the 2 beefcakes, 5 armor on the Night Stalker, 580 health because he's gone for a lot of regen here early, and FNG sitting at 7 base armor, 600 health. I do want to point out, interesting play by Lil. He goes for the level 1 mana drain, just trying to get rid of Pycat's mana. Of course, this means they don't have much to harass him with, so just walk in and do it the old-fashioned way with some auto attacks. There is also Dust and Sentries out on Lil. So the plan seems to be burn all his mana, and I guess it'll work up until the point that he gets the Soul Ring, at least slowing him down a bit. Then he gets Soul Ring, and he's going to get the Spiderlings out.
Yeah, you need to do as much as you can, especially before he gets that Soul Ring in level 3, because at that point he starts to take control of the lane, and then it spreads like a plague all through this jungle, and then you just got really think about calling the Exterminator to take care of this bottom lane. So we'll see what VPro could do in the early front on that bottom position. Meanwhile, mid lane, it's going to be the Brew Puck matchup here. Brew's going to be able to find his CS, find some XP. Puck, well, going to be elusive as ever. EGM playing mid lane position here. I haven't seen that yet from the Alliance games I saw, so a bit of a role swap right now. As it's going to be top lane, Loda, getting good relative early CS here, 5 and 4, but Mag seems to be a bit distant right now. It's going to be easy zoning out here for Ake, so I'm a bit concerned here for VPpolar, especially in the top lane.
Yeah, we have seen this before from the offlane Night Stalkers, though. It doesn't really get much CS. Uh-oh, Haystorm picked up, but fortunately for our Sand King, he's the one who grabs it. If Ogre gets that Haystorm, then hell breaks loose. Oh, bottom lane. They pop the Dust. They end up getting a first blood here. Hex doesn't even have a pointed Impale yet, and just, I guess, leaped and auto-attacked him down. Very nicely done by VPpolar. And well, if you're up against Brood, you get these early kills. She's not nearly as scary in lane.
Yeah, so that's exactly what you want to get done. Now they can try to just take control of the lane and press it on forward. Puts Pycat in a bit of a predicament as far as being a little bit more cautious. He's able to go throw together his level 3, but can't afford to overextend, especially when they have that detection at the ready to just kind of spring the trap. So with that, now your Slark, 14 and 5 CS, getting a lot out of that bottom lane position, but we'll see here. My Nuts looking to move over into the jungle, get those early stacks in. He's got an objective to be able to put together that Blink Dagger in a respected period of time, because having that gap closing capability in this game becomes very, very crucial, especially when you got a lot of these high mobile kind of heroes like your Slark and even your Night Stalker at nighttime.
Yeah, and good news, they also have stacked the big camp once, so a decent amount of stacks come out for My Nuts. The key is get his level 3, then he'll move into the jungle, and that's the one scary thing is as soon as he goes into the jungle, it'll probably be right around that 4-minute mark. The first nighttime, Not that Mag will necessarily go for the Sand King, but it may allow him to get more aggressive on Loda or potentially even Ake's Skywrath Mage. Something to keep in mind. We'll see Pycat chilling in the bottom lane. He starts to get the Spiderlings out now. The Soul Ring not yet ready, but he closes in on it now. He's completed his Poor Man Shield, taking some Mana Drain Harass, which is proving to be surprisingly effective here early on from Lil. I don't think we'll see him level it, just the value point for the first few levels, and now he'll probably go back to leveling up the Impale and maxing that out.
As the 4-minute rune approaches, it's going to be the top lane from Virtus Pro that kind of migrate to the area to at least scout it out. It's going to be babysat. Mag is just going to see it. That first Knight's going to drop. DK Phobos picks up and bottles up that Invis rune. But here's your first nighttime, which as a Night Stalker, you've got a quota to meet usually. You want to get a lot done in this first night. So we'll see how long Mag wants to maybe consider making moves here in the top lane, but you're going against these three, and it's not going to be the easiest. Maybe if Ake overextends a bit, you can quickly grab a hold of him, but I wonder if Mag's going to feel pressure to go elsewhere. And as I say that, they're already migrating over to where they feel that maybe Sand King could be farming up in the jungle.
It's a level 2 Sandstorm, so he'll be safely tucked in here for a long time, and they need either Dust or Sentries if they want to go first. They're going to swing around and maybe just jack the CS hole, hit one Wolf. He doesn't want to give them a free Centaur, but it's low enough they could just take it for themselves. So they slow down that stack. This big camp not yet stacked. He will go for the stack, but I wonder if they'll just migrate there next and take that as well. It's going to end up giving them a lot of free experience for a dual lane off lane if Alliance are not careful.
Touching base back on the bottom, Pycat feeling a little bit more loose here. He's got the spiders out and looking to farm it up. Lil is constantly scouting out on the side, and with Pycat not really having vision over there, he doesn't know exactly if this Witch Doctor's committed to the bottom or if he could be tempted to make a rotation towards that mid lane. But they do know he doesn't have a smoke, so if he was to rotate, it's not going to be easy. But look at him here. Now he's kind of dancing with the side pull camp, which was double stacked, and he's just going to try to leech a bit of that away.
Leap in on the bottom lane. They've caught out Pycat. Dust gets popped, and Pale's going to follow this one up. And Pycat looks like he'll go down again. Another death in the off lane. The Broodmother, and it's not like they're committing heavily onto her. It's the Spiderlings chase out Lil, but he's got another Impale. So I think he should be okay here. Impales them, cleans them up with the Slark's help, and they're running a dual lane. They're getting tons of levels on Lion. They're not ganking the lane at all. This is just a clear loss for Alliance here in the bottom side of the map. You shut him down early. Later on this game, as mentioned, their lineup is ideal for dominating a Broodmother. If Night Stalker ever manages to get to that Ag's gem status, then good luck doing anything this game. In good news... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say he benefits so much from this bottom lane. These takedowns of Brood and already having a fair amount of room to work with. He's at 37 and 10. But on the other side, Loda also getting a lot of farm. 38 and 13 in this top lane. He's not threatened whatsoever, but they're making a move on to Ake. He might have overextended, like said previously, ignited and muscled down, and Mag is going to meet that quota. Within the first night, he gets that kill and takes down Ake.
Yeah, exactly like I was saying. As soon as the Sand King goes to the jungle, they can harass him, or they can just go and punish the Skywrath Mage. And at nighttime, there's just not much you can do. You can hug your tower and not really harass or zone them, and then you're giving them levels, and then they just maybe go for the Sand King instead, so... You can see the idea with this VPpolar dual lane setup coming into play now. I don't know if they expected this many kills on the Brood, but they definitely felt like they could take advantage of the Sand King disappearing to the jungle. And in the meantime, there's a jump on mid. Potato getting caught out here. No silence skilled up by Mag just yet, as he's only level 5, so they won't make a go on that.
Looks like he's just trying to take advantage of the last bits of nighttime, swinging through with a nuke. Maybe if he happened to go on through and the orb was carelessly used on the creep wave, he could have got it. But no, this is just Mag getting in what he can. He runs back. He'll finish out that urn, it looks like, and then they're going to continue to go back on the hunt. Maybe him and FNG could rotate bottom lane. Illidan very low here, is going to force out the stun. Pycat does sidestep it, but he still will be hexed up. Now Dust going to be popped, and there's FNG rotating in with that TP. Now Pycat's going to be forced to kind of waddle away while his spiders still continue to chase down Illidan here. And also the rotation from Ake. Okay, sweeping in, but here comes Mag. Might have to be careful. Huge void damage plus the fire blast. Ake gonna be in big trouble. Should go down here. Will go down.
Killed by the
here,
neutrals,
but the neutrals. Yeah, get it. Uh-oh, Potato might be caught out. Phobos hunts him down. Fire Blast helps secure that one. Phobos picks out the kill. Puck goes down. And then Virtus Pro, man, push ahead now 5-0 against Alliance in the early game.
That looked really greedy by Illidan. He ran all the way up here into the creep wave just to Midas the Spider Lane. He had no ult, he had no Shadow Dance mana, he had no Pounce mana even, and, well, fortunately for him, the team was timely with the rotations, bringing so many heroes down, and again a victory for VPpolar. Gold's still very even, but Illidan picking up a Midas, running a dual melee offlane. I think being even is pretty good here for VPpolar, and on top of that, I guess you look at Alliance and the Sand King Blink will be the engine for taking over this game. My Nuts doesn't have it quite soon, and honestly, consider the amount of harassment he was under early. This is an impressive Blink timing from him, so he'll get the Blink out. They'll look to set up kills around the map. Loda also picking up his own Midas now, so they've got the Midas going, the Blink coming out, and at the same time, DK Phobos about to get his Blink. Both teams really getting their big tools for team fights together, and expect to see a lot of extremely aggressive play very soon.
Seeing the three Stooges here, smoked up, conga lining towards this top lane. Mind you, it's not daytime, or it's not nighttime, so they're going to see if they can have reasonable lockdown between both the Ogre and the Lion. Loda could be in trouble here. They move in, Dust already preemptively popped. The nighttime is going to be dropped now. Negative Earn. There's the Impale. Here comes a few clubs. The Ignite going to be there. I think Loda is going to be going down, and sure enough it is. Mag picks up another kill, and Virtus Pro continue their flawless early game. 6-0 now.
6-0, and, well, Loda did spend his gold at least before going down. So Line's still pretty poised under pressure here, and honestly, all things considered, this many kills to only be down that much they're in good shape. So they won't be overly worried about this, but I think the main area of concern is just the Broodmother. Like, more than anything, this hero having such a slow start, it might seem even now, but she can very quickly become a liability later on. At some point, Slark could just go in and solo kill her, or at least force her to TP out, and until then, Illidan just farming up massive stacks of these Spider Lanes, 600 extra gold into his pockets. He's got all the basics now. You gotta be careful not to feed the Slark too much.
Yeah. Uh-oh, mid lane. Yep. Oh, wow. Quick finger. The finger debut just absolutely fries Potato, and now Ake going to be the next one to get rotisserie styled, and he goes down. Another two-man drop, and it's yummy. Very yummy for Virtus Pro Polar.
Yeah, you've got some fried potatoes, a little barbecued Skywrath Mage, you know?
Should have mashed potatoes. Oh, well.
Well, I don't know if that thing's much of a masher. Mashed potatoes would be if Brew starts smacking them, but that was more of a heat gun than anything else.
Baked potato.
Baked, yes, baked would have worked. For next time, note to self.
Ooh, Loda looking to come in from behind on Mag. There's the burrow, and he's going to dish out the right click, and it looks like Alliance are going to be able to get themselves on the board. Nicely done. Mag just a little too far without seeing too many Alliance on the map, and they do hand over their first death.
Yeah, the Blink makes a solid debut. Now going to pick up the Magic Stick, another smoke, and Brood will finally cobble together her Midas, the go-to item nowadays for Broodmother players. I wanted to say
mid lane, Epi onto DK Phobos, drops the clap, and, well, he has no split, so he's done for. Another gank movement coming out from Alliance. They start 7-0, or 8-0, but they quickly find a couple of kills for themselves, crawling back into this one.
Pycat just cannot get anything done here. He is leveling, and he's not dying anymore, but every time he goes... Normally as Brood, you want to just send your Spider Lanes into the enemy woods and just steal their jungle. If you can't take the tower, then at least try to deny them some economic options. And, oh, mid lane, Mag, not going to be fended off by Delusion. But every time he goes into the woods, Slark just follows him, dark packs the creep, and Illidan gets another couple hundred pieces of gold in his pocket. Now up to 1,700. Just a few moments ago, he had 600, 1,100 gold acquired, and again, you see, he just runs into the lane, dark packed, and it's a very low cooldown, high damage spell. He'll kill off an entire wave, and Brood just can't even push the lane. So I'm not sure where the Brood goes from here, but this bottom lane is just not working.
Yeah, and with someone like Shadow Dance, it's not like you're going to be able to turn on him too easy. It's always going to be Illidan who's going to have the upper hand, and while he's farming continuously here, I was going to question what his next item pickup is going to be, and it looks like it's going to be the Shadow Blade. He already has the amulet en route, and with fantastic timing on that Shadow Blade, he can go on a relentless tear into the early part of the mid game, and this is a hero you don't want to snowball because he has a very high ceiling into the late game as well.
Every time he uses the spell, it's just an extra 100 gold in his pockets. Ah, it's going to be a little more. They were trying to bait him in, but Illidan just quickly pops the ult, and he'll make his way right out of here.
Meanwhile, they do take down Potato. Lion, my nuts. No, it's not my nuts. It's Lil Hardy. Gonna be able to get that quick kill. Will be a takedown in the mid.
They still have Brew Split. They may try to force this tower a bit. Our Brewmaster for DK Phobos, going back for the Vlads after picking up his Blink Dagger. Your go-to build nowadays. Don't really see the Aghanims anymore. Occasionally, they'll rush, Brews will rush BKB if the game warrants it. And it wouldn't be a bad BKB game either. You are up against Skywrath and Sand King, and these two heroes can own him, but at the same time, he's always going to have a lot of very aggressive heroes to back him up who can get up in their faces and just look to take the fight to Alliance. So it's not like he's the only one that can initiate. Nightstalker can run in, Ogre can run in. Your Brewmaster can kind of bide his time and wait for the right openings. And Vlad's is a great item this game. 4 melee heroes, it will assist them quite a bit.
The Dark Horse right now for Alliance, though, is Loda trying to throw together his Orchid, but there's early dust pop. They're making it go onto Loda, and with that multi, he is just going to crumble to a pile of bones, and it's going to be a quick snag. Prolonged a little bit from his Orchid, but
it's a totally different way to play the Clake's. You look at how Eternal Envy plays the hero. Doesn't really go for Midas much nowadays. Gets an early bottle, constantly checking runes, ganking a lot. Even if he's not ganking, he's just missing, so you don't really know what he's up to and you feel a little bit nervous. This is not... Oh, bottom lane. There's a jump in on Illidan. Now they've caught him, and finally they look to bring him down. He can't scurry to safety. A much needed kill for Lights. But yeah, this Clix is just sitting top lane, and VPpolar recognizing Loda wants to farm and one position this as hard as possible, and they're just punishing it with constant ganks and pressure. And a part of the issue is also that the Broodmother hasn't been able to apply pressure. This sort of play works really well if Brood is winning her lane. Then you're busy trying to deal with her, you can't send heroes to the top lane. But Brood now starts to catch up a bit. They get the kill bottom, and instantly the tower goes down on the back of that, and now maybe Loda will have some proper space top lane to continue being a free farming threat later on this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, Pycat wasn't able to get the last hit even with those spiders there, but now with that tower down, she feels a little free to roam, but look over here, you see the Mystic Flare going to be dropped, and Ake is able to quickly take down Brew before any sort of split is going to be happening. Actually, the split did happen. Finger return, though, from Lil, and they do take down Potato, so a one-for-one trade between both mid laners makes it somewhat of a wash.
Yeah. Brood getting some room here on the bottom lane now. Pycat trying to take over the enemy jungle, and they will need to keep the pressure up on Pycat. It's up to Mag as the next nighttime rolls in, although unfortunately for him, it's now daytime for quite a while. Possibly to some extent your Slark. Speaking of which, there's a haste rune out on Illidan. This is trouble for Loda if he gets spotted, but he won't. He's going to dodge away, retreat back, and should end up being absolutely safe.
Yeah, they did have that rune. They saw it was going to be bottled up, and he just wanted to play it extra safe. So uses the Skeleton Walk, and he'll kind of just hang out nearby and farm up the jungle, deathpacking that poor big bird and taking him away from his little bird family.
Pycat lurching in again in this bottom lane. He's posting up a lot. So speaking more about Pycat, he's going to go for the Necro Book this game. Mana burn pretty good against Nightstalker, or oh, sorry, not Nightstalker, Brewmaster. Obviously, having the True Sight is nice against the Shadowblade Slark, so it looks to be that early Necrobook pickup, and it could end up working out pretty well for him.
Yeah, they have to, on the side of VPpolar, they have to make sure they always put some sort of attention down here. You can't allow Pycat to just kind of have free roam and get too caught up elsewhere. Meanwhile, look at Illidan. He is way deep on this one, scouting out with that Shadowblade, maybe thinking he can quickly take down my nuts. Can he do it? He can. Immediate Shadow Dance, and he's going to go on the retreat.
He went for the Panic Epicenter channel there, but Illidan played that one perfectly. He gets off that first Shadowblade auto-text, you get the plus damage, then he leaps and he Dark Packs instantly, so even if he gets stunned or silenced, it's going to come right off, and from there, Sand King just needs to accept his fate, but he goes for the Epicenter, doesn't end up working out.
Uh-oh, Dust going to be popped. Pycat in big trouble. There's going to be the Fire Blast jumping through. DK Phobos gets the clap, and here comes the Bare Necessities. They're going to look to come off at the pass. The stone is going to be there. Still dusted up. They need a bit more time to take him down, though, and they do get it. The Brood is going to be extinguished.
What an Impale!
They also take down Ake. Impale catches him out. Mag also drops. Potato's going to be baked, and, well, it's a dominating streak right now for the Lion. 15-5 for VPpolar.
The Lion pick, we were talking about it for Alliance, but it comes out for Lil 4-0-4. And you look at their draft, it's a tough game for a Lion to keep up. Night Stalker, Slark, Panda with the Blink, Ogre who just has less fear in general. These heroes are going to be up in Alliance's girls, but Lil has been in position to make plays happen, and the laning stage continues to now. He goes for a Force Staff. Good for just running away from the Broodmother when she's attempting to terrorize you. Could have gone for the more offensive Blink choice, but I think Lil worried about just getting caught out by the Clinks and needing some retreat path available. It's a really good Ghost Scepter game as well, as Loda has gone for that Orchid.
Yeah. They try to make a go there on Illidan in the mid lane, but it's not going to be easy, especially since he has that Shadow Blade. No little silence from Ake Skywrath Mage is going to stop him from getting away. Even Orchid's not going to matter too much. So Illidan steps away. He's even taking away the farm from the Alliance jungle right now. He's just getting so much across this map, but matching up on par, though, is Loda's Clinks here. So we'll see if he goes for some more pickoff plays here. He's got about 1,300 gold. It looks like he has his eyes set to head towards the bottom. Ogre's here. So this could be a quick grab if he wants it, but they do have the sentry. They quickly scout him out, and they know exactly what's up.
So we see the map spread now. Illidan up in the top side of the map, and Alliance a lineup that also wants to spread the map. The Brood Clinks really excel when heroes are off on their own, and Lil spreading this trap for Loda. He's going to pop a Dust Force Step in, gets off the Hex. He's got the level 2 finger, but backup's coming. Oh boy. He can almost solo kill that Clinks if Death Pact is down. Fortunately for him, it was up, and oh, hello, FNG.
Yeah,
goodbye,
see you later.
FNG.
Welcome to the family, says the Broodmother. Makes quick work of him, gets the spiders, and this tier 2 tower is going to be brought down. The glyph is not going to matter. Top lane, though, is going to be jumping from Illidan. Potato is going to be slashed apart. So while that happens, a trade of objectives, and now two towers drop on this bottom lane. Pycat has a lot of room to spread out those 8 legs.
All kinds of delicious potato options this game. You've got them sliced, baked, roasted, fried. It's an 0-6. It's an 0-6 puck. We've got some new flavors of potato coming our way from the looks of things as this game moves along.
Yeah, his plays. Unfortunately, this game has not been very sweet.
No.
Sweet potato.
Where's your badunch? There we go.
Yeah, no problem.
I got you. That felt right.
No problem.
All right, so where does this leave us now? I think I'm still fairly worried if I'm Alliance. They do take the tier 2 bottom, but generally with Brood, like, this is expected to get those 2 towers. It's more, can you break the base or at least threaten VPpolar so they're forced to react. They go in mid lane, though, onto DK Phobos. He has a haste turret available. He's going to pop it and head for the hills. Soul burn, not enough to get the kill. He'll retreat out, and that'll end the gank. Though he is forced to TP out to freedom, and he's going to get BKB soon. So once he gets BKB, a very difficult kill. The Slark is very hard to kill and going to get harder once he completes his what looks to be the Eye of Scotty next. And not too many easy pickoffs.
I've been following this Arcane Bolt for the last 30 seconds, still chasing TK Phobos in the mid lane. Finally smacks him on the back end side. I don't know why I found that. I was so tickled by that. Bottom lane, though, making it go. Pycat will end up being dropped. Illidan sweeps on through, but Lil might be the trade. Ake moves forward with the silence, and those spiders allow Pycat to get a kill even from the grave. Illidan is going to be able to pounce to the low ground, and the coil's going to miss. Oh, Potato not going to be there. Now DK Phobos moves in, clap, splits out the bears. Loda going to be slashed apart. Illidan with a killing spree now. Ake forced to TP away. My nuts going to be dusted and going to be absolutely handled right there.
Yeah, they got a nice good grip on my nuts and just squeezed the life out of him.
I knew that was coming. I love casting my nuts.
He's quickly becoming every caster's favorite player.
This is every time he does a big play, you say something and you're like, oh, man.
The best part is we're not always even trying.
No.
A lot of the time you're not.
Stop trying to make jokes about my nuts. And I'm like, listen, if I'm saying like
try to make it not sound funny. Good luck with that. Wish you all the best. They get some space now. The Slark moving in the middle lane. Bottom lane pushed in. And Illidan posting up very aggressively. He can roam towards top here if he wants. Has the completed Eye of Scotty inbound. And as this game goes on, you just look at the way the teams will match up later. You do not want this to be going late for Alliance with a Slark this fat. Super fat Slark, they have... Their only answer for him, I feel, is like an Ags puck. And if they could just auto-attack him when the coil breaks. But Potato doesn't even have treads yet.
Illidan scouting. Ake, this is not looking good for him. My nuts is right there. He fakes it once. Wow!
At the same time, they tried to jump Mag, and now they found themselves in a very unfortunate situation. Pycat joining this one. My nuts just hiding in the sandstorm, but he's found out by the vampire. Great two-hero burrow will catch them out, and they look for the Slark. Illidan silent, but very tanky, and he'll turn. Can he get the kill? He gets one last poke of that dagger in, ending him. Then the finger comes out from Lil. The Necro 3 is here, and VPpolar says, great, some delicious nuggets of gold for me. He's going to work on the Necro minions, bringing those down, and he will end up getting that delicious plus 200 gold. At the same time, Loda, haven't seen much of him this game. 3-3-1, it's been a very quiet Clink showing. You compare that to the Slark ability in 7-2-3, it feels like he's been everywhere. And for Alliance, I feel they need more pressure out of Loda. If the Clinks isn't actively taking tier 2s, threatening hero kills, VPpolar are just going to be confident about going for these pickoffs and continue to outfarm them.
I gotta say, VP had also been doing a really good job with their ward coverage. Earlier, they found some good, movement across the jungle. Were able to avoid some early gank attempts, which prevented Loda from getting those early bits of kills that he would definitely be betting from now. But hey, look at this. They move into the Roche pit. Loda alone here with this Demon Edge bonus damage. They think he can make a go, but I guess they understand that this might not be enough, or they don't have enough oomph to really take down in a timely fashion, so they opt to pull out instead.
Pycat's going to go back in, though. He walks into the pit, and the Broodmother can pretty comfortably solo this one with the webs, incapacitating bite, and the ultimate. Should be no problem, but they'll make it a slightly quicker with the Scarth Mage just casually launching a few bolts in the direction of the Roshan. Phobos has split up again, though, and he has BKB. If he walks into the pit now, there is no way to prevent a split aside from a Burrow Strike Mystic Flare, and I think even then, it's not going to be enough. He walks in, the Roche is low, Aegis snagged by the Clinks, but Loda going to pay for this one, it feels, as they bring in the Night Stalker 2, Dust deployed, they'll bring him down once, they can go back, the Broodmother able to scurry up the hill, so that won't be a kill, but this should be death number 2 for Loda, and it will be dealt with by Illidan, and not sure if that's even worth it, to be honest. Losing the Aegis, maybe they get the Lil kill as well. He force stats the other way. Can he survive? Nope. Pycat ends him.
A 1-for-1 trade, but still Alliance. They lose that Aegis promptly, so they get a little bit of bonus XP and gold from taking down Roche in the first place, but hard to say really where it goes. VP have just been pretty far ahead this game. 23-10 now. They trot themselves down this mid lane. Illidan looking to scout from behind. Ake very close. Way too close at this point. No, he's going to make a move onto my Potato. And Potato, though he pulls out the shift and the coil, he'll still be taken down. Now they put their sights on the Aki, but a big epi does fall through from my nuts. Shadow Dance has to be called out. They avoid the Mystic Flare damage, and it's quickly 3 down for Alliance.
VPpolar just running away with this game now. 26-10 your score. Pycat desperately trying to push in the bottom lane, but just can't do it fast enough. And he knows if he goes for the high ground that it's at that point where they may just be able to run him down from halfway across the map. Night Stalker ulti is cooling down, so gives him a little more freedom. But you can already see Illidan straight back bottom. Let's hunt this Broodmother. He'll start dewarding, and just another benefit of the Slark pick. They're playing around it so well. Once the Slark gets Basher, what are you really going to do? They can't bring him down. Illidan always able to get off the Dark Pact at a good time, or at least survives long enough to Shadow Dance, and Alliance just can't seem to focus him. And the thing is, there's other heroes you have to worry about. The Brewmasters become a real issue for them in team fights. Automatically, Skywrath and Sandcade just are out of the picture, if not dead, and VPpolar just brute forcing it pretty easily over Alliance.
Illidan making quick work, trying to make quick work of that Necro, booking the bit extra pound. Pounce is going to be right over the head there of Pycat, and he is just going to start to split. But reinforcements are on the way. They turn back onto Illidan. The nuke's going to be there. He still has Pounce and Shadow Dance if he wants it. He decides to turn right back onto Pycat. Pycat can be in trouble, but here comes my nuts. Jump in Burrow. Illidan now the one in trouble, and a nice silence from Ake.
And he's the gem carrier.
Oh, yeah, the
big
gem goes
death
down.
there by Illidan.
Huge bait coming out from Alliance, and they get Lil with it. All right, Alliance able to crawl back into this one with a couple of takedowns here in the bottom lane. Nice job from Pycat to bait Illidan in.
That is a huge turn for Alliance. The gold change here, add another 900 onto that in their favor, as of course the gem was lost. So With that, at least it doesn't counter anyone at VPpolar.
Loda tries to make a go in the mid lane, but
surprise!
Nice. The sentry was there the whole time. Now Potato could be in trouble. He does manage to drop to the high ground and will be able to fly away. But Loda thought he was going to be able to creep in for an easy support takedown, but patient play from FNG.
Not the case at all. Pycat is able to get towards high ground here. Necrobook cooling down in 20. And they haven't sent anyone back yet. They can defend this pretty easily with the Brew, and he'll be TPing on home right now. Lil about to join him. So, a very costly death on Illidan. And good news, though, for VPpolar, it does not translate into big objectives. Alliance, no Roshan for them to take during that time. They immediately lose Loda afterwards. They don't even grab a tower. Still the tier 1 mid standing. Pretty unusual to see that when there's a Clix. Normally, Clix could just, if nothing else, backdoor your tier 1s. Even if you're losing racks or something like that. But this game, he's just not very confident about making those types of plays. He goes for that, then maybe Mag jumps him on the Night Stalker. The Slark might be waiting, and he just can't run away when these heroes get him.
Illidan moving in, pulls out the early Dark Pack, now has to pounce up to the northern ground, but there's the Mystic Flare. Illidan could be in trouble. Shadow Dance comes out. Loda now looking to interject, force forward, nuke. Another force, though, comes out from the allies, and Illidan's able to make his way out. Potato still moves in. There's going to be the silence. Impaled not going to quite catch, and Alliance are still straggling to get hold of at least one of these VPpolar, and they can't. They're able to slip away. I say that now they return back on the Potato, and they finger it. So that's it. Alliance does lose one. FNG also another force. Here comes a huge epi through. It's all on DK Phobos. He is able to live, pops his BKB, and will be able to strut his way out. One more second, his splits up, but not quite enough mana. And after it's all said and done, it's only a one-man takedown on the side of Alliance, and they were the ones who were on the pursuit at the start of this whole thing.
Slark is such a good Illidan hero.
Yeah.
I feel like if Illidan's not played something tanky like that, like we've seen his anti-mage or Dusa, either very mobile or tanky carries it. He runs into their own neighborhood there, he dies. But he's able to live through it, and he's also building the BKB most likely. And once he completes BKB here, I guess it could be a Maelstrom, but if he wanted that, he would have already bought it. So he gets the BKB. That type of thing isn't even close to happening. Alliance still very reliant on magic damage. Loda hits reasonably hard, but with BKB, Slark's just going to go on him, and he's going to have no choice but to back out.
And I got to say, a bit of a silent force that maybe doesn't get enough credit is Mag's Night Stalker. That nighttime not only restricts the vision of everyone on the side of Alliance, but their wards too. And they have reasonable ward coverage, and without having the proper vision, they can't make these big jump-in plays. But look at Illidan on the hunt here. This is going to be an easy pick on Ake. Fortunately, wrong place, wrong time for him, and he gets it.
Jumps him in the river. Pycat and My Nuts just hanging out in the trees together, relaxing as a duo. But Illidan's going to mosey on through. He'll even leap towards the trees, almost like he knows they're there. I'm pretty sure he just wanted the creep wave, but he puts the Fear of God in the Sand King, who immediately retreats out. And they actually pinged almost directly on top of Pycat. Uh-oh. Meanwhile, Brewmaster split just happened mid. Also popped a BKB. May have been forced out. Puck gonna TP out to safety. We'll see how low his HP is relatively soon.
Yeah, it looked like maybe Loda had shown his fate a few shots in, and that forced out Brew to play a bit defensive there. Now Pycat shows himself in lane. Has to be careful. Thankfully, Illidan does not have that gem anymore, so he's not going to be easily scouted about, but he is going to try to at least cut off the wave and prevent VPro from being able to push down this bottom tier 1 tower even. They even ping back, see that Pycat's kind of just cutting him off from behind, and it doesn't look like they're going to step back. They want to continue to move on forward. They know that if Pycat's not going to get involved, that means there's only 4 Alliance members here, and they have the advantage in numbers.
Oh, My Nuts have gotten caught out, though. They'll silence him. Now they zap him. They finger My Nuts, and he ends up dropping. VPpolar now going to try to take this tier 1 bottom. They may get 2 for the price of 1. Do they have any creeps coming? They're still quite a ways off, so maybe just the tier 1 here.
Pycat actually just does the TP towards that tier 2. And we'll be right there in case he needs to pull out his defense. But Illidan, whoo, that was a close pounce. Doesn't catch, but he gets some right clicks in here. And the Dark Pack pops his BKB, forces the BKB out from Pycat. He's not done. He keeps pushing forward. He wants this spider. Does pounce off, but he's stuck still in the enemy base. And Loda's going to look to take him down on the way out.
He just got the gem back, but Illidan, as quickly as he reclaims the gem, he tosses it away. Oh, that's costly. The short leap, not getting the job done. And it may well cost another his life. FNG pursued out by your Clinks. towards the tree line. Potato going for the silence. And now DK Phobos will counter-initiate. He's got the Brewmaster split. He throws out the boulder onto Aka, gets the easy kill there. It's Loda into the tree line. He's the gem carrier, so they don't really have an easy way to catch him out. Potato blinking on past, now orbing a bit deeper. Mag about to get vision. Not quite yet, though. And that's where the action should end.
He does have a TP in about 10 seconds, so they'll figure that he'll find his way out, but VPpolar do manage to get a small return kill, but Slark getting a bit too aggressive. Pretty much classic Illidan on that one, with even missing the pounce. He felt like maybe he had the opportunity, but Alliance were all there and ready to just kind of return their own pounce attempt, and they get it done. VPpolar now shift on back and away here. Roche is up, so we'll have to see if either team look to maybe make a converge here. Loda scouting enemy jungle territory here, maybe seeing if he can get a quick catch up on any sort of lingering support.
The gem is so big this game. Not having a gem really hurts them, and we're going to see an attempt at initiation by Pycat. Brewmaster comes in, looks to go blow for blow. He's popped BKB, but Loda able to force him back. Lil will fall to this. The epicenter of my nuts celebrating that kill, as DK Phobos and Mag will retreat out to safety. Coil is there from Mr. Potato, though. Not going to drop it.
No, they don't feel like they had enough to be able to follow through with anything after the coil, but here comes Illidan now. Loda, skeleton walk, is able to get himself away. He's the one that holds that gem, but here we go. Illidan turns the corner, scouts a couple of stragglers here, and it's going to be Ake forced forward and away. BKB's popped, and his bloodthirsty crosshairs are out, and he finishes off the bird guy, and
Loda
turnover. Loda's in big trouble. Split's going to be there. He's going to be forced to pull out that BKB. FNG also coming in from the north side. He's just going to take the long road down and walk away. So it's a 1-for-1, a support for a support at the end of that.
Yeah, let's see. How long is it until VPpolar can actually buy a gem? There is one available. They're not choosing to buy it. I suppose they feel confident that at some point they'll get it back. But it's just such a crucial item. When you're running Night Stalker, you're up against Klink's Brood and Sandcade to a lesser extent. They can't really fight anymore. They can't split push without having to worry about the Night Stalker ganks, and they get dewarded. And as you mentioned, those wards already don't do much. Illidan now jump mid lane. Coil gonna break as he gets force-staffed out. He's low. He ends up going down. A nice kill there. They look for FNG2, chasing it backwards. The backup is inbound. DK Phobos, though, does not have his ulti, so he can't really do a whole lot. Mr. Potato going on through, and they'll jump onto Mag, who also may drop here. In comes your Lion, a bit too late, though. Lil unable to do a thing. What an expensive sequence of deaths. VPpolar, it really felt like this was their game, but it's beginning to slip away from them. Death after death on the way out. DK Phobos now being slowed down a little bit by Pycat as the chase continues. Mystic Flare off the mark, and they'll force him up onto the high ground. Now they silence Lil, who gets thrown up in the air by the Yules. He's got a finger. He probably wants to throw it on Potato. He can't. That's 4 dead. Buyback only on the Night Stalker. Is this Rax? Is this really happening to VPpolar?
This was a 8-9K gold lead for VPpolar in what looked like an absolute dominating fashion, and now Alliance are in the base and they're taking down the tier 3.
And it's an 8-9K gold lead when you've got BKBs on your cores, all 3 of them, so you're really not worried about Skywrath or Sand King. And they had a Gem Night Stalker, or a Gem Slark to deal with the Clinks. It felt like it was their game, but now they're being forced back. Alliance at least not ending it yet. VPpolar able to hold the line. Only a tier 3 down. Still, though, a massive swing over the past few minutes. 5,000 gold swing and counting.
Looks like Potato moves in. Scouts out that the Roche is up. Probably something they could to rally towards, as VPpolar have been pushed back into their base. But as I say that, they're already found their way back out. Maggie pulling out the Knight right now. He is looking to build that AC and throw together a bit more armor for the whole team, because it looks like Brew did not want to pursue one himself. He stepped off, did get that Agnums, and it looks like he's going to build a refresher on his Brew. He's got the Oblivion Staff.
Interesting choice. The split has been pretty consistently useful. I guess it hasn't necessarily killed Alliance's cores, but it's done a good job of just making the fights 5v3. So generally, we've seen much more of the Abyssal Blade, like you mentioned, Refresher after that maybe, so you've double BKB, double Abyssal. And you still have double split, right? I don't know, the X has been okay, but The other build generally has felt stronger in most of the games. Well, either way, he is farmed, and he's going to grab this bounty room bottom lane. DK Phobos now being chased out a bit. They won't go after him. And they're setting up for this potential next Roshan. Loda into the pit. He's completed an MKB.
Very important this game going against the Brute too. Wants to be able to get all optimal damage out there.
Yes. Wrap around coming now. Mag in front. Can they get on someone? You know, it's also interesting that Mag is going for AC. Because we have seen an awful lot of Ags Night Stalker, and it feels like it would be really good this game against Brood Plagues.
Oh, Illidan does connect the pounce onto my nuts. Follow through with the Fire Blast, but he is able to avoid the... Nope, never mind. Well, he goes down anyways. He almost burrowed into base, avoiding that Earth Spike, but they still catch up, and Lil's like, you're not getting too far. I'll figure ya.
Did they go Roshan now? Looks like they want to. Illidan, DK Phobos, and Mag all going to group up and head into the pit, and with FNG here as well, this will be a Roche takedown. Can Pycat trade for this? He's got Spiderlings in the base. He can go for a kill on Lil, but he's got to be careful about the TP reactions. They Drunken Haze from the high ground. Brewmaster split online. Going into that pit is tough, so they'll go for trades. Pycat now lurching in with the Necro Books here, doing good damage. Aegis will go to the Night Stalker. So Slark not going to grab it, does not really have room for it in his inventory. And Pycat now will BKB dodge and impale, but Lil just calmly force-staffs himself back towards freedom. This is opening up the base, though, as Loda will cave in the melee racks and the range. Pycat also taking a tier 3. The Rat Dota, it's back for Alliance.
And they get the tier 2 in the top lane. I mean, Potato had full roam to just kind of work it down. So they get the tier 2 top, they get the tier 3 bottom, and they get the racks mid. So was the Roche really worth it at this point? I don't know. Serious damage inside the home base here, VPpolar, and now they gotta look to dig deep a bit and be able to push this out and at least try to get some significant damage done the other way.
Night Stalker did not have buyback for 3.5 minutes, so perhaps that's the idea here for Mag is, yeah, we're giving up racks, but this way we ensure if we don't go for Roche, then Alliance will take it, and I won't have buyback, and they may just be able to win the game straight out. But giving up a lane of racks against a Broodmother Clix, it's going to be tougher and tougher for VPpolar to get out on the map and control it. Let's see if they can make it happen. Loda hiding out top lane. He sees out DK Phobos. Can't kill him with the BKB, but if they can get some setups going here with the initiation coming out, they get the silence out. DK Phobos focus. He manages to split at the last hour and now turns with the lob onto my nuts. But backup is coming. He's probably dying here after the split. Nobody for his team is there. They're all busy setting up a Pycat bottom.
Refresher split, so it'll be okay if he can resplit it up, but it looks like he's not going to be able to finish off what he started and has to use the split to get out. Uh-oh, though. Potato catches right up with him and takes him out. Oh, nice heads-up play right there.
And good job by Pycat, dodging away from these Ganxies in the trees close to FNG, who has a gem even just a few trees away. And Pycat waits there with bated breath, but it seems they won't get him.
Yeah, he has been just constantly adding the pressure down here, forcing VPro to not be able to move as a 5-man squad outside from this bottom lane, and well, that's what you do with your Brood. So while he continues to pester on the bottom, this allows Alliance to open up here at the top lane, and Loda, once he gets closer and closer to the base, that right click comes through. He's got 4,600 gold on the sidelines, and where do you take it from here? MKB already done and Orchid. Maybe a crit?
Crit, Butterfly. Honestly, Loda has not really been threatened in these recent fights. Slark is mostly just hunting the Sand King. Mag is not really a physical damage threat with no AC completed, going for Vanguard BKB. I feel like the only way he could die right now is the Slark right click, so maybe he just goes for a Butterfly. There is a line to remove the evasion, but we'll see. Could be the Daedalus for sure. They'll look for Ake now and catch him out with the Void. They get the kill. Finally, VPpolar striking. But still the lanes are pushing it.
Still, Pycat does work on the bottom. That one racks now very, very low, and this is just a slow plague that's just withering away inside the VPro base. And as he continues to do that, Alliance continue to push in the top, and they don't have to let up anytime soon. In fact, it could just come to the point where the Aegis might not even be used whatsoever from the side of VPro.
Illidan now on a deep hunt for my nuts. He's really committed to this chase, but can't get a range. It's Alliance now who control the map, but if it comes to a full 5v5 fight, not sure who ends up taking that one. Slark very strong in those prolonged engagements. The thing for Illidan, he manages to find my nuts! Runs him all the way down. Man, what a chase. He's chased him from here, roughly, all the way to over here. Relentless.
He wants my nuts. What can I tell you? Well, for now, he'll have to pull back. Not going to be able to get it. Highcat's still on the bottom in his little nest in those trees. Not looking to let up. It's real just...
Bulldog is watching, and I'm sure Bulldog is very proud right now.
Yeah, this is very Bulldog-esque. Just a real nuisance over here.
Very disgusting. And back into the trees. Just that's the way.
Does move in. There is the dust. Stun's not there, but that's Brood. Just walks through the trees into another division, and we'll be fine. Oh boy. Moves down. Oh, they see him. Drunken Haze. He actually has to pop out the BKB.
But they get the bash.
Oh, they get the bash. He is not going to be going anywhere, and they might finally be able to exterminate this spider. But it's proven to be quite the hassle. He just kind of jukes around, goes into another tree, and by then the dust will wear off. He's absolutely fine. And all the meanwhile, top lane, Loda just moves on in, gets that tier 3 down to about half life, and he steps out. This is proven to be a headache right now for VPpolar.
They're getting just spread apart by Alliance here. Never allowed to group up for those big team fights where they could use the Brewmaster double split to their advantage, and Alliance playing this pretty much flawlessly. Giving up occasional kills on supports, that's to be expected. Not losing the Brood or the Claykes very often. After a very shaky start, they are right back in it in game 1. 45 minutes and counting, and still the only Rex that has been taken, despite VPpolar's early lead, is their own mid.
Here we go, though. Feels like desperation for VPro as they stretch out. Even trying to get a hold of AK is proven to be a little too troublesome here. BKB is going to wear out before he gets the hit in. AK will end up going down, but they really extend themselves to get this done. They have to leave some back inside the base. Epicenter flies through, but the BKB had already been popped. Phobos not going to be taking a lot from that. Will force my Nets to retreat back. Refresher is going to be popped, though, from the Brew, and here comes the split again. And they are going to be able to take down the Sand King. It's a 2-man drop. Meanwhile, on the other side, it looks like they're going to try to get a hold of Lil. Lil also going to be dropped right there. Loda now dominating on his Clinks, and he could cross paths here with FNG. FNG gets off the multi. Fire Blast, and Illidan's able to clean house. Triple kill for him. All right, VPro.
With that Slark Dota. Oh, this range rack so low, still not dead. That's the thing for the Claykes. That's what he has to be worried about, is even though he's kept even with Illidan, if it ever comes to those head-on collisions, he just gets shredded very quickly. And that's before the Abyssal, which Illidan now can buy, although he goes for an MKB instead. He almost has MKB and Abyssal Blade. All of a sudden, Illidan about to grab 2 new big items. He sells the Midas here, and he's halfway to the Abyssal.
He's going to be grossly farmed.
Well, halfway to the Sacred Relic, I should say.
Yeah. It's good he has that MKB, obviously. Pycat with the Butterfly could prove to be trouble to grab a hold of. I also wouldn't mind Pycat maybe considering a Diffusal. Maybe it's too late at that point, but you got to remember Diffusal now would work with his ultimate. Plus, he could always purge off a dust if he does get caught out.
Yeah,
we'll see if that's going to be the case.
He's got BKB for that as well. So
yeah. BKB down to 6 seconds. Not going to have a whole lot of time to work with. Could be in trouble here. Illidan pinging it about. He hides in the trees and waits. They have a DD also on Phobos. If they scout him and they have the sentry down now, they could quickly take care of him. But he's got a nice little nook right here. He's not going to be leaving.
He's just lucky there's no Nightstalker Ags and no Batrider in this game. If either of those was here, he'd be a lot sadder. But Pycat's done a pretty admirable job considering how poorly the game went for him at the beginning of remaining relevant and not dying. Again, not easy to pull this off against Nightstalker Slark, but he is finding a way to do it.
So about 2 minutes before the Roche is going to be back up. Look for Alliance to really want to secure that one, because with that extra life, they could really press it in the VPro base. And if they're able to clear out the rest of the Rex there on the bottom, then it's going to be, well, more pressure on VPro to try to clean this out, because at that point, the rat tactics could be just too much for them to even survive before the Megas end up coming through. So this could be a big, big Roche coming up.
They're wrapping towards the top lane, getting ready to set up on Mag, but he already is retreating. Backs into the base. As soon as they show a couple heroes top, Pycat gets ready to skip the creep wave bottom. But Illidan's now latched onto a tier 2 bottom lane, so he'll get a little extra gold. If they don't TP back soon, they bring back 1. Just your puck for now. Potato, we haven't talked about EGM in a while. He does have a Hex. Unfortunately, the quick draw comes from Lil. There's your zap. The kill going the way of Illidan. And at the same time, Loda unable to turn this one. They maybe wrap around on the mid lane. He's going to BKB, just does a few couple auto attacks to this tower, brings it down. Loda trying to fight his way through Mag, and FNG underestimates their ability to survive against him, and he ends up falling. He's attempting to create space here for Pycat, who has made his way into the base. They throw the Necromini up in there. He'll BKB. It's perhaps a noble sacrifice as Pycat retreats out. They get onto him. He looks for Mag. He gets voided. Focused. Finished. They lose 2 cores for a melee Rex. But that might just be enough. The rat is ramping up.
I think it was a good call there for Alliance to make that jump in. They saw Illidan at the top. Illidan did not have a TP, so it was going to take a while before he could make it back to the base. So that was a window of time that Alliance were happy to kind of push in and get objectives like that. And they have plenty of time for these death timers before Virtus.pro are going to be able to stretch out past. Now, if Virtus.pro were able to shift over, maybe they could quickly sneak in a Roshko, but there's just too much pressure onto the base. And now my nuts parked on the side over here. Gonna wait and scout it out, but there we see is they're smoked up moving through. Are you giggling over there?
No, I was coughing on some water.
I thought I heard like a...
No, I was giggling. It's really hard, man. They find Ake. He's done
Ake,
for.
yeah, he
Finger?
is...
Yeah.
Finger.
They got him. It's time for my nuts to backstab. And they will do so. As he gets trapped out top lane, though, this could cost him. He drops back down to earth, being monitoring. That sets up the follow-up. And that ends him with the multicast. And now they push through mid. Buyback status. Brood has it. Clinks has it. Already respawned, though, so he'll have a second life if needed. VPpolar are fighting this one 3v3 for now. It could be 3v4. They're not reacting. They can lose 2 lanes of racks if VPpolar rotate top. At which point, we've got ourselves an even ball game, and they're going to do it. Brood now respawns, so they're going to fight this 4v3 if they bring in the whole squad, and you have to imagine they will. Basher picked up by Brood. Wants a little bit of man-fighting capability here against Illidan, but it's the Bruise time to engage. He'll split once. He'll try for the Boulder Toss and Pycat, just wanting Illidan to buy him time to focus the tier 3s. Now Illidan will BKB. He initiates on Pycat, chewing through his armor. The BKB not sufficient. He'll go down. Illidan with a wild leap on in. No BKB, no ultimate. He actually has absolutely nothing right now, and he gets silenced. He'll be blown up. He has buyback. That's the one tool in his arsenal. 725 gold bounty and counting. They chase out Mag as well. No nighttime for 8 seconds. He's a gem carrier. Your secondary Bruce split now deployed. Working on Ake with that. While Mag will be finished off. Alliance making it a 2-for-1 in this latest engagement. And
Illidan's back though. He's back. He moves in. He's instant silence. My nuts throws out the ghost and he will walk away. Now Illidan trying to get a hold of anyone. Will this buyback be worth it? He can't get a hold of anything. So fortunately he steps back and well, we'll see if they want to make another go into the base.
Going now, are they gonna go 2v3 now? That would be extremely risky. There is no Broodmother though. No Bruce splits. Illidan at least has his ultimate ready. He'll try for the range racks. Well, never accuse this guy of not being confident. He engages. Who's he go for? It's Loda. He needs a bash here. Not gonna get it. Now forced to leap away, but they're gonna chase him out. Illidan, if he dies back here, this could be massive catastrophic damage against VPpolar.
Oh, man.
He gets thrown up in the air. He dark packs. He continues his retreat. And at long last, a friend arrives. It's the Ogre with the double stun. 1, 2.
What bad luck.
He'll take one for the team.
No multis at all for FNG. Does the self ghost. Not another multi. No multi at all. 3 single fire blasts. There we go. Finally, we get a 3 times. He's able to blow up the potato and grabs up the gem right there.
Lil is hunting. He finds out Loda. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Loda in danger. Impaled and brought down.
Boom.
Insta buyback.
This game is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. At first, it seemed all Virtus.pro Polar, and then Alliance had a huge swing through, taking out so much of the Virtus.pro Polar base, but back the other way we go. Mid lane was dropped, top lane, tier 3 taken down. Pycat holding his home front right there, but man, oh man, this game back to pretty damn even at this point. You look at the net worth graph, it just went pretty much all over the place. Ball Virtus.pro, then back to Alliance, now back up to Virtus.pro once more.
Whew! It's getting hot in here. DK Phobos push out this top lane. He'll blink back to safety. As you mentioned, a lot of key buybacks haven't been used up, so this is where Roshan becomes a priority. And what do you know? Illidan's just waltzed into the pit. My nuts are hanging out up top, but as high up as he is on this perch, he doesn't actually see in. They did not see anybody run here, but they may just suspect it. He waits.
You could see, if you look at their vision, you could see bits of cloud. I don't know if they see that as well, but you could see that something might be happening in there.
I think that's just a spectator thing. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not too sure.
Yeah, they get the Roche. If he knew, he probably goes for the Blink Burrow and tries to snatch it. But
dang spectator glitch.
Yeah, there's a couple of other weird things. Like when heroes are smoked and you toggle team vision, you still see the little clouds of smoke running around, even though you should see nothing. So not a massive deal. So you can still basically tell they're not visible. But if Valve, if you're watching, that would probably be just a small change that could be made to improve the spectator vision. But
I want the
I'm glad we finally have the Fog of War.
Yeah, exactly. Well, here we go. Loda. They're trying to get hold of Illidan. He's going to cheat, but he gets helpfully forced out and away. It's going to force out the BKB from Loda. Illidan now looking to go on to Potato. Potato's going to go ahead and shift and walk out from this one. Yule's up. Oh, he does have to blink away to keep, but they put their attention on the My Nuts, and My Nut gets blown up.
No buyback on him. This is looking worse and worse for Alliance. They chase onto Loda. Remember, he used his buyback earlier. The Brood bashed and focused. The entire Brewmaster split along with a gigantic Finger of Doom will finish him. Night Stalker lurching in, just charging towards the fountain. They want some more kills here. Clake's also in a little bit of danger. He tries to snipe his way onto the backside, but he gets caught, hexed, and might be finished. Lil again with the pickoff. No buyback on Loda. Dead for 2 minutes. That's a Potato down. He's carved apart, sliced and diced and ended. And although he has a buyback, he can't do it alone without the Clake's. And with everyone in the base, this looks to, at long last, be the end of game number 1. VPpolar will have a second life on their Night Stalker, a fresh throne to take, and they will walk away with a 1-0 lead, unless Alliance can pull out a miracle, and I'm just not seeing it.
Yeah, I'm sure they felt like this game was going to be a lot easier, at least at the start of this one, with the significant laning advantage that Illidan had, plus being able to just pretty much rock from top to bottom. But Alliance showing that they had so much fight, able to take it back to the base, but at this point, Virtus Pro, they stay cool, calm, and collect, and look how things have turned around once more, and now on their last hurrah, Alliance still waiting as Loda, unfortunately stuck waiting on the sidelines 70 more seconds before he can even get evolved. Ake and Potato scramble to stay alive into the fountain. Tier 4, one more stance, but they want to go for more racks. Just a bit of a scramble as far as objectives go, but they do get the second set down, and maybe just Virtus Pro walking with that. Nope, they go right back in.
Yeah, the auto attacks come out. Now you're again your Finger of Death used. Another 2 kills. None of these heroes have buyback. So now it's 5v2. Lion will finally die, picked off by Potato. Insta buyback, though. He basically gets a free fountain trip. He can defend this bottom lane, and the throne exposed. This is the end for Alliance in game number 1. They have a chance to bounce back in this best of 3, but they get run over by VPpolar. And, you know, I have to say, Dakota, that this could have been a lot easier for VPpolar. A couple of big overextensions. Losing that gem was huge. Illidan played extremely cocky this game. But it looked like a game that VPpolar should have just ran away with after the first 20 minutes. And I think they look at this and say, we need to play more discipline in game 2. We can't be giving Alliance so many chances to get back in the game.
Yeah, especially in a tournament at this magnitude, an elimination match have you, this is the time that you need to make sure that you kind of second guess your commitments, especially for a playstyle like Illidan has, or like Havost has, or what have you. And you got to make sure you're a little bit more reserved. If you hand over a game and it did end up, if it did end up going up for Alliance, it would have been a little bit morally defeating, and then coming back in game number 2, you got to make sure you're headstrong that you can come back that much stronger. For Alliance, that might be the case now. They almost had the opportunity to come back into this one, but unfortunately they fall short. Now it's match point for Virtus Pro Polar going into game number 2. We'll see which of these two teams is going to be going home, or if we're going to be going to a game number 3.
Well, with that said, we got a game 2 on our hands, folks. VPpolar, 1 win away. Let's see if they can make it a 2-0 sweep. We'll be right back.